revise our timeline significantly. I still think we push for this, and then if it becomes evident that it's a wiser thing to do, to zig or zag.
Yeah, just so we have a completely good
plan
plan.
forward. Yeah, I agree.
And we take the risk that we have to cheat the timeline and rely on the next elected official to evaluate that.
If we could get a group of informed experts with a variety of expertise to come to these meetings and serve as kind of an ad hoc initial run, I think that's a great idea that makes a step toward Mr. Vanderhoff's suggestion of a common citizen group and the technical group within the time limits and how to function. I think that's a worthwhile endeavor too. Is that possible?
I honestly don't know. I think if you change your plan now, it has to go back out for public comment.
It doesn't change the plan, it just introduces people to the party.
To help us evaluate the plan. Instead of hiring engineers, we're utilizing free volunteers. Instead of contracting it, we're asking for qualified free help.
So you put a call out to the community for people to come in?
That's what he's suggesting by the commissioners, and however you go about that. That takes some of the workload away from the committee or the council, but
And my
it's
point
not,
more
it's a
about
good
the
idea.
meetings, at those two meetings that we're gonna have is it's a one-off. You know, they're just there for, you know, that. And just to give them a little help, hey, that's totally blue sky, or that's totally salt of the earth, whatever. But then after that, they're done, because we're not gonna be calling them every Tuesday night to run the numbers again for us. It's just to help us get this first little push.
Not to come across as opposed to public input or professional technical assistance, but I'm really, really worried that by even entertaining the idea that we get the commissioners involved in this, is that we're murking the waters so much that, I mean, this whole thing could unravel. We need to maintain our course. We need to take public comment and let people come to these meetings and speak whenever they want to, like we have always done, including commissioners and including technical people. But again, I'm sure it's not going to make me popular with Mr. Vanderhoff, but I think we need to continue our work the way that we're going, and yes, invite people to come, but let's not ask the commissioners to, quote, appoint someone to be part of the group. That's probably outside of our legal scope and authority to do so anyways, and it's also just going to murk the waters.
That scares me too, another level of the complexity in that regard scares me.
And I just feel like it's been such a slow process, and that's going to slow it even further.
I guess when I was making my comments, I wasn't thinking we would involve the council. We would just look to create a subcommittee of some of the technical people who have come here and ask them if they would meet and review projects and give us their input. And we use that as another piece of information as we deliberate. Because these decisions are going to be very hard, very hard. And I'll tell you what, if you ask 12 people, 12 engineers in this community about the Parrot tailings, you're using 12 different
I think the council asking people to volunteer in that regard to review some of the ideas is absolutely part of what we should be doing. But given another branch of government some authority to appoint someone to come here and act in that regard, I think is really murky for me.
I concur. So Elizabeth, on the public outreach solicitation process, I guess the first thing I really set as a question here is, what's the budget? I mean, I see, okay, well, these ads cost $350, but I mean, honestly, in my mind, so what? I mean, if we set a budget, that drives what we do for public, for getting out the word. budget perspective and say, okay, let's set aside, I don't care, let's throw out $50,000. Make this a hell push, or are we just gonna get a couple ads that get buried in the third page?
The intention is to make sure that everybody in the community knows what's going on and has an opportunity and feels welcome, even if they don't have the technical expertise to come and share an idea.
I think some of the radio stations would do it for free.
Yeah, PSRs.
Or even some of the local ones, I heard an ad the other day where they do it, if it's a community benefit type thing, they'll do it for free or minimal.
But I don't think we should be afraid to spend money to get the word out.
No, I don't either.
I
think we should do radio.
With that, is let's do it.
Look, I can't see it costing more than $10,000 at the most.
Sarah,
And
what's your
newspapers are
experience?
expensive.
It's been really poor, getting the word out. I mean, we've tried everything from going door to door, knocking on doors, to every type of press. It seems like we now have a following in our monthly EPA bulletin we put out.
Nikki is sending out.
Yeah, it's in the newspaper, and certainly we have one coming out, so if you guys have some meetings, we'd be glad to put a blurb in there. If you guys could give us the wording, and we could get that in there for you, so, you know, we're willing to do that. Justin Post is excellent, at doing stories, so he'd be a good one, maybe get something on the front page. You don't want it buried, you gotta get it right there on the front page. Radio, but that's what we can help you with.
When's your next monthly one?
Should be coming out, well, one came out this week. So when do you need to have, when were you having your meetings?
The 20th and the
14th
of March.
March 14th. And, I don't know that we can get it. No.
What's a reasonable budget to try to communicate to the entire community? I think it maybe was.
Is that what you're asking on a
just
budget?
your experience with it.
You know, I can't answer that. I could get that back to Elizabeth for you though tomorrow. I could at least tell you what it costs on the bulletins. Sorry, I don't do that.
Just one
No worries.
second. Matt, go ahead.
We got CFOC, we have a website, Facebook site, weekly radio show on KMS and FM. We'd be happy to splash it all over there, as well as send it out electronically to all of our local school partners. And I would suggest somebody from the advisory council writing a letter to the MP, both the weekly and the standard.
You know, and to
All
me,
of that's free.
Gotcha.
to me, one of the biggest things that leads off anything we're gonna say is, hey, everybody, we have $32 million. Do you have an idea? This isn't a public meeting. What would you like to maybe see happen, and we'll see if we can't find you some money. We actually have money. We're the fourth largest pot of money in remediation, restoration, and basin. And we're willing to spend fast.
Did you have comments?
You'll get people there.
Yeah, I actually think John's right, that we're gonna have quite a bit of response to a media plan in this regard. If you remember when the idea of the council was first proposed, how many citizens applied to be a member of it, and then it got quite a bit of press then, and then around press when the members were appointed. And I think that the local media outlets are pretty interested in what we're gonna do. So I did a short little media plan, and I'll just tell you that it'd be newsprint, both the standard and the weekly, that it would include your typical legal notice in the back, combined with an op-ed in each, and then a news release, hopefully to get a reporter from each of those papers to wanna do a story. Television, you know, and you wanna time this so this all happens within the, you know, couple of days. But you get to the local news affiliates, even though they're no longer based out of Butte, interested. And then also for television, PSA, radio, all the Butte AM and FM stations,